Hey, I haven't done a video for a while for YouTube. I've just been thinking here a lot recently about America. America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her with a light, through the night with a light from above. You see, I haven't given up on America. I never will. Despite what I see, despite what we all see. See, this is where those who care about America, those who care about Americans, you put your political affiliation aside. You don't care if somebody was a mean tweeter. I mean, that sounds like somebody that left the sandbox because somebody wasn't playing really nice, so they took their bucket and pail and their shovel and everything. I'm going home. But if you look at the state of affairs we're at right now, you see, there's nothing wrong with America being independent. There's nothing wrong with America being number one. There's nothing wrong with America producing its own oil, being independent, or its own food being independent. We shouldn't have to travel to Saudi Arabia, and ask them, "Hey, can we have some oil? Can we buy some oil?" We shouldn't have to be paying Russia. We shouldn't be yielding to the World Health Organization as far as matters of health, whether the World Health Organization can shut our country down if there's something going wrong. We shouldn't yield to the United Nations. That's like letting the inmates run the asylum. But we do that. We shut down our pipelines, and then we go around the world. Hey, we need your help. Of course, we can see where stimulus checks have gotten us: inflation, recession, higher prices, food shortages. Well, when you hear reports about food manufacturing places and they're going up in smoke. What was it, five or six that just happened to fire and gone? And you're hearing about chickens, and we got to destroy chickens and destroy cows and destroy potatoes and destroy vegetables because, oh, now we might be facing a food shortage. People are going to be hungry. Well, gee, you watch the news, and it's nice when you have a Roku TV because you can watch other news sources from other countries. I think it's was it Sky News? Is that the one that's from Australia? Because you can get reporting about our country that you're not getting in our country from our country, and they pull no punches. About the president. Just and they don't have to be mean about it. They just have to report the facts, and we see it. And that's sad because I know so many people of both political affiliations, and they're like, those who care and those who um, are concerned, those who can think clearly and not be um, programmed from the news media, and those with agendas from a political party. They're like, this is not good. Why are we talking about more COVID problems in the fall, and schools shutting down and this happening? And why are we facing higher prices with food and fuel? And why are we talking about going hungry and all these other things? What is going on? Why are leaders in countries from other countries laughing at us? No respect, no fear. But yet I'm not ready to give up on America. I'm not really an idealist. I was born in 1959. 1950 is so cool and all the good stuff. And 1960s was just like a what a mess that was. Thank God I was too young to really. I never forget the time we went through Cincinnati when I was a kid. We went down this one street through this one neighborhood, and it was like that old song: "If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear a flower in your hair." Flower children and hippies everywhere. It was kind of cool for someone my age, but I think '70s, like the '70s, must have been some kind of a little. But we just kind of went on cruise control before it was cruise control. It was like, man, let's just try to recover from the '60s, and we'll see what happens when we get to the '80s. But we have to put America first. We have to put political aspirations, political affiliations. We don't have to try to. We shouldn't. There are those who are so afraid of a former president that they got to from the moment he was elected, during election time, after the election, even now. It's like there's a fear of him returning to office. Yet you see those years, and wow, where were gas prices? Where were we at in standing and respect of the world? Um, with Putin have done his nonsense he has been doing with Ukraine, would we be going over to Saudi Arabia to buy oil? Would we be asking the World Health Organization for approval? The United Nations? No. Would our borders be a little bit more secure and safe? And there's nothing wrong. When other countries do it, they're sovereign. That's okay. But if we do it, it's like, oh, I've always there's a common sense factor here. When we've got veterans, okay, just one group of our America's citizens that are hungry, are homeless, yet we can let people come across the borders and give them the keys to the kingdom. Food, housing, healthcare, cars, whatever you need, you got it. More money, here you go. But our veterans do without. Something's wrong. And there's nothing wrong with America taking care of its own, its borders, producing its own. You know what? I heard somebody um, mention that if we weren't buying oil from Russia, making them richer, supporting their war, um, how much would we be doing in terms of maybe we're producing enough, we don't have to buy from anybody, and whatever we're producing in oil, whatever we're producing in goods, whatever we're producing in food and such, other countries could buy from us. Now, it's not going to eliminate the national debt all at once. Of course, stimulus checks don't dwindle it down. But the national debt, if people were paying us, it would drop some. That's just common sense. Hmm. But yet, it's no one has any concern or alarm when chickens are dying off or being killed, cows are dying off or being killed, potatoes are being destroyed, and vegetables and all this other stuff. It's like, really, and you don't get why there's high prices and shortages. Why aren't we producing our own baby formula? Why are we dependent upon anyone? We should be leading the way, setting the standard. And you see the newscast from these other countries. There's no respect of what's going on here, no fear. It's kind of like we've got them where we want them. I forget which the quote had been contributed, I think, to Nikita Khrushchev, one of the leaders of Russia. I think he was actually a leader of the Soviet Union, but that's still the same country, Russia. And I think his saying was about taking over America without firing a shot. Well, we're allowing it. Yet, and I've got it on my Facebook. A lot of people, um, we don't see eye to eye on politics. Shoot, I've got friends that go to church and we don't see eye to eye on church because I, for prefer to stick to the Bible and not what a denomination says or what the, you know, but that's a different conversation. I've probably done that in other YouTube videos, so check those out, if you will. Just some Bible truth. That's all I know to share. Not my interpretation, not my viewpoint of it. I, you know, just share. And I always say, sharing comes from caring. So that's all this is about: caring about America, about Americans, wondering how we got to here and why we're here. Second Chronicles 7:14 gives us a little clue on how to get over this, but then the church is too lazy and weak. The church is more worried about being a politically correct social club than it is about being a church. In God we trust. God bless America. One nation under God. To the republic for which it stands. That's our country. If other countries can be sovereign and it seems like we stand back and say, oh, well, it's okay what they do. That's their country, their rules. Why don't we have the same right? We do. Political correctness is a cancer in all forms of reality. To the point that if you're thinking some other country might get upset with you, well, okay, they're upset. But we've got to return to our own greatness. Tell the United Nations we don't need your help, assistance, blessing, or approval. The same with the World Health Organization. We'll decide for our people what we're going to do in the time of crisis or health problem or whatever. You know, don't let the rich and powerful, whose personal home lives are a wreck and a disaster, a comedy of errors, although it's not funny. We know socialism, one little hiccup away from communism, doesn't work. Oh, they like to paint the pretty picture, and but we've seen the reality. The government, what was it? That old of, for, and by the people. Mhm. If we care about America and Americans first. Other countries shut their borders, that's okay. Then we should too. Not saying we don't allow people in, but you come to our country. See, it's funny. They come to our country because their country's terrible, bad, pathetic. It's hell. But then they want to come here and turn our country into their country. You just left yours. Now you want ours to be like yours? Go home. If you want to join this country, be an American, then yes, you need to. We're going to abide by the laws of America. We're not bringing our laws from our country that we don't like to America. No, you're going to become an American. Then our borders are open. Come on in. The more the America. It's like it says on the statue in the harbor. Otherwise, no. Don't bring your drugs and your thugs and your problems and all this stuff here. We don't need it. We got enough of our own. But let's take care of Americans first. And to me, that starts with veterans. They've earned it. They've earned it. So if we care about our country, truly care about America, politics aside, we don't care about mad, mean tweeters. That's childish. You've grown up past your sandbox stage. Don't leave your bucket and your shovel in the sandbox. Let everybody have it and play. Let's put America first. That depends on us. It starts with prayer. Back to the God factor. That's inescapable. And then it puts America first so we can be first again. I still believe in it.